So I'm going to play a really old song. And this is my friend Wally, who is here from Canada, who I don't get to see very often. I just love when he's around, and so he asked me to play this. I don't refuse Wally. I don't refuse when he has songs he wants to hear. He's not a guy who I refuse. And so this is a song, and I think I know what I'm going to need to follow this with too. So this is a song that I wrote for the last Cabins record that I wrote songs before I left the band in whatever year that was, 2001 or 2. And it was a record called Long Line of Leavers. And this is a song that I wrote, I guess I should say this now. So I've been married for 12 years, a little more than 12 years. And when my wife and I met, we met and got married really fast. And we were recording this record. Cabins was in Nashville, Tennessee. We lived in Texas. We were Texas-based, but we were in Nashville making the record. And 2 hours down from the recording studio where we were making our record was this really great little coffee shop. And so we used to, every day, in the afternoons or whenever it was, several times a day, we'd round up drink orders from like everybody in the band, and there were like 50 people in our band. And so anyway, so we'd round up, and then all the crew and whoever else was there, we'd have all these drink orders. So this long list of, and then we'd draw straws. Never drew the short straw. I had to go down and walk down and get all the drinks and lug them all back. So on a Saturday afternoon, I drew the very short straw, and I walked down to the coffee shop, and I walked in there, and as is not uncommon in Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA, as they call it, there was live music going on. And you cannot escape live music in Nashville, Tennessee. There is nowhere you can go that doesn't have... The Qdoba has a writer's night. I'm really not joking. Like on Wednesdays you can go and they have an open mic. I mean, everywhere in Nashville. So Saturday afternoon there were a group of folks playing, and again, as is not uncommon that there was like 3 or 4 songwriters, and they were going around playing their songs, and they would do that for a couple hours, and then there was a gang of people in there to see them. So I went in, I just sat, I couldn't really unconspicuously go get my drinks and out of there, so I just sat down to check it out, and I heard this woman play, and immediately was just smitten with the song and with her, and I didn't meet her that day, but I picked up her record. I saw her boyfriend. I was with her. And immediately, literally with all the drinks and the CD under my, walking back to the studio, I was hatching a plan. And that was the middle of May of 2000. By the end of May, 2 weeks later, I had moved to Nashville, Tennessee. I had moved everything I fit in my car, one trip to Nashville. And 6 weeks later, by the middle of July, we were engaged. I work fast, that's right. I made quick work of that boyfriend. And so, anyway, and I've been there ever since. So, but in that very, very brief, so we never even dated. It was like, it went from, hey, how's it going, to, we were like, So, in this very brief amount of time, I wrote several songs. I thought it was finished. We were finishing the album, we were mastering, which is the last thing you do. We were finishing the record, but all of a sudden I started writing songs about this thing that was happening, right? And so this is one of the very few songs that had time to get written before we got in, between when we met and when we got engaged, which was not long. And we actually snuck it onto the record. So this was hot off the presses. This was the latest news when it was still unresolved, I think, when the record was getting pressed. But we went back in really quick, recorded it, and it went up on the album. And so it's about that moment, packing up my car and driving 13 hours to move to Nashville. I wrote this song on my way. So. And it's not a clever title. I really felt this way. It's a song that's called "The Mistake of My Life." Luckily, it turned out not to be. But I'm in love. I've never been so sure of anything, but then again, I could be a tumor in my brain, tricking me into thinking that we were meant to be. Either way, well, I'm about to shock my family and my hometown again. But this time I'm leaving. Once I'm gone, I cannot look back. I've got to trust that this is right, because maybe I'm on my way to find you, but maybe I'm gonna make the mistake of my life. Since we met, my life's been so up in the air here today, but by next week I could be there on the streets, struggling to support my newest vice with a sign that says I will work for love advice, 'cause I will mow your lawn. Yeah, you'll tell me what I'm doing wrong, 'cause once I'm gone, I cannot look back. I've got to trust that this is right, because maybe I'm on my way to find you. Maybe I'm gonna make the mistake of my life. I'll leave the car running, and I'll leave half the boxes packed. Oh, the slim chance I'll go right back. But once I'm gone, I cannot look back. I've got to trust that this is right, because maybe